The Sasquatch Experience do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the hosts, sponsors, or affiliates of the Sasquatch Experience. As always, listener discretion is advised.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Does a legend walk among us, lurking in the forests of our world?
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my sensor light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. Looks like a man. I don't know what it was.
For over 15 years, we've talked with scientists, researchers, investigators, and witnesses, trying to gain insight and proof around the existence of this mysterious entity.
Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
Dia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Join us as we continue into the investigation of the Sasquatch Experience. Well, here we are, Sasquatch Experience for Monday, December 23rd, 2024. It's Christmas Eve. If you can believe that. And there he is, the effervescent James Baker joining us. How we doing, JB?
We're doing good. It's been a solid day.
Very good. And guys... new platform tonight we're trying out here. We are on Streamlabs, testing out something different. So, folks, if you're in the chat, let us know how it's working out for you. Let us know how you hear. And varying different levels of frustration from some of us tonight as we're trying to go through and do this. But it's new, and this is things that happen from time to time. But again, we're broadcasting on YouTube, broadcasting on X, broadcasting on Facebook. Still getting it out there, having a great old time. We still see the chat, so if you have questions, comments, concerns, send them to us. Really ready to try something new. Henry, Matt, Bake, thanks for coming on tonight and trying this out with us.
No problem.
Guys, it's been a hell of a couple weeks. Had some sighting reports come through. I know, Matt, we sent you out on one last week, which we really appreciate. I don't know what we can talk about, but if you want to just give a little synopsis of what happened and join, I mean, I'm sure we could work around any of that, right?
Sure, yeah, and I have, the witness was really open about it, and we ended up, coming to a good conclusion for her. So what happened was just over the last, and this came in last week, so a couple days prior, she started seeing what she believed was, a nest or some sort of tree structures in her backyard. Her backyard backs up to a mountain and probably about 2,000 acres of it goes straight up the mountain, and then at the top of the mountain it's all coal mines, all abandoned coal mines. So they're not active anymore. They're fairly inaccessible. So there's not a lot of people that come out there. There was one historical sighting from that particular area.
Right.
So I told her, I said, hey, I have a day off. I'll come on over there. So I'm on my way over there. She gives me a call and says, guess what? I found out who made the structure. And apparently, the only people that go back there are grandkids. The grandkids came by and said, "Grandma, hey, we made a little tree fort." So, very easy explanation as to what happened. But she does live in a pretty decent area. She sees deer, bear, turkey, all sorts of wildlife, coyotes through there all the time. And again, back in, I think it was 1999, there was a historical sighting just about 3-4 miles away from where her residence was. The mountain itself, it kind of goes out to the towards the south, and then it goes to the west. And on the western slope of this mountain is where a young girl was washing dishes one night, looked out the window, saw a gorilla face looking at her. She screamed. Her parents were in the living room. She tells her parents. They said, "No, you didn't see anything," until the next morning when they found 2 impressions in the flower bed about 7 feet from where the window was. So that was something that, hey, you know what, that was pretty decent. But for this one here, and again, the this lady, her enthusiasm was there. She understood, after the explanation, from her grandkids, hey, this is what we have. But she's still interested in the subject, and she's definitely going to come out and see us when we're at the Central PA Bigfoot Festival. So, and she said if there's anything else, she's more than willing to have us come out there and check out her property.
Well, that'll be great. We'll look forward to that if she sends any more, information our way. I mean, I'm just very happy, Matt, that we've been getting reports coming in.
Yep.
This one was reported right through our phone, our phone line. The other ones reported through the website. So it's great. And of course, folks, you can go to SasquatchExperience.com and hit report it, and it'll send us an email. Pull up the form. It'll send us an email of when you submit the sighting. Pretty great stuff. Again, one of the things that makes us very unique is the fact that we are active investigators. Mm-hmm. And we need you to report your sightings or your encounters so we can get them into the hands of the right people and follow up on investigation. This is a very much organic growth business. We need people to report their sightings and encounters for us to continue going on, or we're just going to sit there talking about the same 60-year-old film footages, or so
exactly.
We definitely need you, the listeners, to report. So before we go on, Matt, go ahead. I'll let you finish that thought.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Alex Petikoff a few weeks ago.
Oh, very nice.
We were talking about the great guy, and we were talking about the same thing, that first off, if we don't have the data that there's a sighting or there's some sort of encounter that somebody has, again, we're trying to formulate that to see if there's any similarities. Are we seeing certain areas are hotspots in the spring, certain areas are hotspots in the summer, in the fall, the winter, and basically that allows us to put the boots on the ground in those particular areas where there may be some activity. But what we need to really put everything together, we have a lot of reports that have been either sent to us or shared from other researchers. But it's those people that are on the fence. They may have seen something they don't know, or they don't want to get ridiculed. Please, send an email or do the report to us. We'll keep it confidential. We're not going to give names, locations, unless it's permitted. And we do share the information, the data with other researchers. We're not keeping it secret. We're not, like I said, unless you have somebody that has a property that They don't want, 1,000 people coming through, but with that, we let other researchers know, hey, this is something that the people do want to keep secret, but we do share our information. We share our data. We have connections with the BFRO. We have connections with Cliff Brockman, all these other researchers. So again, we're trying to, try to get all this data together so that we can, form some sort of plan for when we do our outings.
Yeah. Well said, Matt. Well said.
Thank you.
Bake, Henry, you guys got anything new before we dive into the night's topics?
Well, I do have something new. Daniel Perez's new book is coming up, Bigfoot at Bluff Creek. It was supposed to be released next month, but he had some delays, so it's going to be February 1st. Now, for those who are members of the newsletter, and I need to re-up my subscription, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
but for those who are members, they will get in on the ground floor on February 1st after 2:01 a.m. Central Time. It'll be 12:01 a.m. Pacific Time, February 1st. And he hasn't set a price for it yet because the publishers haven't set a price for it. But he says it's not going to be a cheap book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from what I saw, or from what he was pointing out, it's going to be very image heavy. So there's going to be a lot of photos in there, and coming from Daniel Perez, that is going to be fantastic. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Right. And of course, tonight is the second annual Last Minute Shopper's Guide for the Special Squatcher in Your Life episode. One of the suggestions on the list was, of course, a subscription to the Bigfoot Times with our past guest, Daniel Perez. Daniel been writing the Bigfoot Times for how many years now, Henry?
Well, he had a newsletter way back, I think it was the late 70s, and it went through, I can't remember what year it was. And then the Bigfoot Times he has now started in 1998, so we're talking almost 27 years.
And that's why we call him the Bigfoot Encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Henry May, folks. Go ahead, Bake.
At one time, I think I was getting a copy. It was a physical copy, and he was mailing them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was doing it pretty much on his dime.
Yeah, I mean, you subscribe to it, you pay an annual subscription. It's not very much. I mean, and I had a little bit of an issue, and he fixed it for me and sent me the back copies I missed just to a little snafu. So I have them at the house. I got to bring them over to the office. It's an informative newsletter. I like that sometimes there's contributions from other folks across the country, adding things to it, putting some commentary in. It's worth it. And, of course, here at Sasquatch Experience, we always like to support great research. And speaking of support, you can always support us here at the Sasquatch Experience for as little as $2 a month. And that's a great gift for that special squatcher in your life. Ad-free episodes and more. We've been posting stuff pretty regularly. We just had our December hangout on a Saturday night, which was really cool. That was a good time for the handful of us that showed up. If you're a Patreon, you're missing out if you're not joining, because we have a good time sitting there just shooting the breeze. We had a lot of fun. And, of course, starting next month, I think we're going to start incorporating the quarterly watch-along, where we'll pick a Bigfoot movie every so often and watch one with our listeners, but we're not responsible for any offense that may take place. It's all about comedy and having a good time. So check it out, patreon.com/Sasquatch Experience. Again, for as little as $2 a month. But, there's some other things that have popped up. I was on Bigfoot Crossroads with Matt Knapp a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Bigfoot evidence, which was it was a lot of fun for me to be a part of. Really enjoy any time I get to spend with Matt Knapp and having conversation. And there's Scott, one of our Patreon supporters, saying the hangout was a good time. It was, my friend. Glad to have you there joining us. It was a lot of fun. kind of informal. We keep them informal. We were also on one of the latest episodes of Small Town Monsters. It was Beyond the Trail of Bigfoot. Oh, Appalachian Bigfoot Files.
Yes.
The first episode is what we were on. Matt and I and our friend Brian and Chewy, Alex Pedikov. It was a great time there. We shot that earlier this year. Had a great time doing that. It was a little cold up there. Not as cold as it was today, but pretty cold
4
out there.
degrees.
Yeah, it was cold.
We had -2
Wow.
out here where I'm at.
Yeah. And so, I guess now that we're done with the shameless plugs, we can go ahead. Guys, who wants to start off with what's on their Christmas list? What if we were recommending gifts for the last-minute shoppers? What do we got?
Well, I got... Someone actually gave this to me. I'm hoping... I got a new phone, and I can't get access to my laptop. You're going to have to bear with me. This is the Jack Link's
Hair of the Beast.
axe upside down. Hair of the Beast. You get a shot glass, you get a flask, and you get some beef jerky. My friend gave me this. So I'm assuming they think I'm an alcoholic that also likes sweaty meat. I'll discuss that later. I this year thinking about people that are out actively discovering the outdoors. This is the best word I can think of in the moment. Was I got my friend some gloves that are semi-heated. They got the wool. I always want to go with the wool, not as much the cotton, because cotton absorbs water where wool kind of shakes it loose. And I got him some of those little heat things. Now, I wanted to get him the good ones, but I couldn't find them. The good ones you want to buy are the kind that you snap them, and then when you're done with them, if you put them in a bowl, you put them in either a cup or a bowl or something of hot water, they'll reform so you can use them again. Those are actually a little more expensive, but if you do the math in your head, if you're out there a lot, it's actually a better deal. The ones I think I got, Porker, I got you, I think they were like 99 cents for 2 of them, but the thing is like the other set was like $12 a piece. But like I said, if you're using them multiple times, you make up the difference in volume. I also... What happened?
Sorry.
Oh, no.
There we go. Sorry. Hey, Matt, it popped up. I got it to work.
Yeah.
I also
We'll explain that one later. Yeah.
What you want to think about is when you're out in the woods, like what is more compact and easy to use? Like I thought, my friend could use some binoculars, but then I thought to myself is then you're carrying them around, there's weight and whatever. So I got a monocular, you just put it up to the one eye, and you look through the hole, kind of like Porky's, And so then the nice thing with that is it's small. It can go around your neck, or you can shove it in a pocket, or, if you have pants with more than one pocket, you can put them in there. But, you always want to look at weight, because one thing is 2 things about weight. One, you don't carry a lot of weight around, and you always look at the people next to you when the bear starts coming, because the fatter guys are going to run slower.
Fair enough. James Baker and the practical gifts, that's for sure. But, practicality is important, especially if you do have somebody that's an outdoorsman, and, those gifts do come in handy.
If you don't mind me interjecting with the binoculars, with the binoculars and binoculars, you can get them through Amazon that they do recording. And having that around, if you're able to do a telescopic zoom on something that you may think is, something you haven't seen before and you want to try and identify, that's a great way to capture the image. Some of the binoculars may not have the best pixel space or,
right.
But I'd rather have that video image, even if it's at a lower resolution, than, if we didn't have any image at all.
Right.
So, Matt, you make a good point. Now, I used to sell those when I worked at Radio Shack.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to be careful is when you buy those units, make sure how they record.
Yes.
Because most of them don't actually record, like you condense the lens to see a half a mile away. They're
Yep.
still only recording what's in so many feet of you.
Yes.
So you have to be aware of that. You also have to
Yep.
look at storage. Some
Yep.
of them only record like 20 images and have no memory card spot.
Sure.
So like when you go to do your research, do a little research. Yes, you're going to pay a little more for some of these, but if you're looking, always remember that if you bought certain items, even though you see the bare close, like it's like here, the recording's still going to be that far away.
Sure.
So just it's little things you learn from working at an electronic shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, you can get them now in thermal, you can get them in like night shot. I mean, the monoculars are they can get pretty intense. I'm looking at one right now from FLIR, the thermal monocular Scout 3, $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's going to do an awful lot for you. And I mean, and that's, everybody's varying degree of what they're comfortable with and what they want to use. For years we've had people out there using FLIR, but let's be honest, what most people are using is kind of like that plumbing grade, not made for the work that we do out in the field. And you start getting to a unit like that, you're going to pay some money. You're going to be dropping some coin on one of those FLIR cameras.
So, sorry to interject again, but so one thing I would recommend is I'm a Harbor Freight guy. If I have a project that needs a certain tool and I don't know if I'm going to use it 200 times to make it worth it, I buy the cheaper version to get the feel and the sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see that it's part of my toolkit on a regular basis, then I go buy the better one.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that, there are $2,500 units out there, but there's also $10 units out there. So just,
right.
See what's going to work for you in the moment and then see if you like it. Because I don't know, Sean, you could get out there and go, you use it once and go, I don't want to ever use this damn thing again.
Right. No, but I mean, and that's a great thing to think about when you're talking about dropping some serious coin on equipment. You can go broke buying equipment in this field. And to your point, there's varying degrees of equipment for everybody. Just because it's also the most expensive doesn't mean it's the best suited for what you're using it for.
Yeah.
You really have to watch out for that because sometimes this is a little predatory and you're out there thinking, I just spent $10,000 on the blah, 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 but that may not do anything for you. It may not be the right application for it. We talk about all the time, how come we never get every picture we get of Bigfoot's blurry? Well, that's because we don't take the time to learn how to use it. We go out there, we pick it up, we're going out there, we're just snapping pictures. Most of the people using those didn't take the time to learn how to use it. So take the time when you get this equipment, play around with it, practice, watch some YouTube tutorials, go find an expert that can show you how.
There's clubs.
Yeah, there are clubs. The more resource you can use, the better off you are. Go ahead, Matt.
Focal point, aperture, and camera speed. Those are like the big three for photography. So, fortunately for us, when we're just sitting there taking a picture, on Christmas Day with our iPhones or Samsungs, it's already built in. But it takes great pictures, anywhere from up close to 10 to 15 feet. But once you start getting out of that range, then the AI in your phone is kind of struggling to keep up with it, even on the zoom. So if you do have a good camera, I'll tell you, and I don't want to go too far, into what I would have for my list, but talking about the cameras, learning how to use your camera. If you can manually do some settings on your phones, that would be a big help. Or if you have a digital SLR or even one of these little cameras that the little carry cameras that you can do either manual or it sets it to certain parameters.
Portrait or landscape or
yes,
yeah.
Yep. And especially, if you're out in the woods, there is an outdoor setting, but there's also a sports setting too.
Yep.
And the sports setting is gonna come in with a faster camera speed, so that you're not going to get that blurry picture.
and make sure that you learn how those speeds work, how to do speed modification. Here's the best two things that I'll say. I sorry to break your thing there, but two things I'll say is for many years of selling cameras, before you go out in the woods, before you go on a trip to watch the whales, before you do anything, go back in your backyard, throw a stick at your dog, and take as many pictures as you can. See what worked, see what didn't work. You don't have a dog, throw a stick at a kid. Okay, I mean, pick one, all right? But I'll tell you, you'll learn a lot. The other thing is don't go cheap on accessories if you went expensive on a camera.
Right.
Because if you buy the wrong memory card, you could take 1,000 pictures in 4 seconds, but guess what? You only got 100 of those because the memory card couldn't keep up with as many times as you press the button. And dog, you don't start biting my foot, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, well said. That's one thing, Matt, that I get JB and I had talked about a long time ago as we were selling cameras is that, you know, the accessories matter. It's not.
Absolutely.
It's a package. So I guess we'll throw that on the list too. A good camera, good accessories. Hey, some photography lessons that never hurt anybody, did it? Right. So some good lists, guys. It's that time. We're at the middle of the hour. We got to take our break quick. We'll be back, folks. Sasquatch Experience. Sean Forker, Matt Arner, Henry May, and James Baker. We'll catch you right after this.
News team, assemble! 12 Days of Christmas, that's just a song about somebody whose true love gave them an unseemly amount of birds. It is. Calling birds, turtle doves, partridges. I don't know if those are even real birds, to be honest with you. I don't. Why does that last one come in its own treat? That feels like an inefficient packaging for birds. French hen, what is that? A chicken that smokes? I don't know any of these birds. It's not till day 5 you get a break from the birds. It's like rings, thank goodness, we're done with the birds, right? No, not even close. Day 6, more birds. Not just more birds, geese a-laying. That's more birds giving birth to more birds.
Ah, yes, birds. Well, happy Christmas, Adam, to you. And tomorrow being Christmas Eve, we would, the 5 Squatch Tards here, would love to wish all of you a very happy and safe holiday. And speaking of Squatch Tards, day before yesterday, which was Saturday the 21st, at approximately 3:30 p.m. in the Gunnison National Forest in Colorado, is quoted as saying, "My girlfriend and I were driving south on North State Highway 135. We were on our way back from Crested Butte Ski Resort, and we had just passed the entrance to Roaring Judy Fish Hatchery." That's a great name. As I was looking out the window, which is a good thing to do if you're in a vehicle, at the East Gunnison River and wooded area that runs alongside the road, I noticed a figure standing next to a tree in the marsh or water. I couldn't tell which was which. The figure was what I estimated to be about 7 to 7.5 feet tall, and it was about 75 meters from the road. Wait, who uses meters as their methodology of measurement? Oh, they must have come down from Canada, to go skiing in Colorado. Oh, yeah, cry. We don't make fun of our Canadian friends. We love Canada. Canada is America's hat. Anyway, it goes on. I could clearly see a head and 2 shoulders and arms hanging down to below the waist, below what I believe was in the water or marsh. The figure was entirely black with no variation in color, and it didn't appear that it was wearing clothing. Well, okay. I also believe it was facing away from me, looking towards the opposite direction. Well, that's what looking away from me would be, the opposite direction. It was not moving and was standing entirely straight up from what I could see. He goes on to say that there was one small house about a minute down the road from where I saw it, quote, and it appeared to be abandoned, and there were no cars parked or people walking in that area from what we could see. There was also about a foot of snow and at least 20 degrees outside. On our way back, I then Googled Gunnison National Forest Bigfoot, and the very first thing that popped up was a sighting in almost the same area with the exact same description as I had seen. In my opinion, I believe I saw Bigfoot. and ironically standing in the water right next to a fish hatchery looking for its dinner? I can't think of a reason that someone would be standing out there in the water, and I didn't see a fishing pole. I couldn't make out any features, only the height, stature, and the long arms and solid black in color. When we come back, let's go visit some friends in Georgia.
You're listening to the Bigfoot Bullhorn right here on the Sasquatch Experience.
But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire.
It's not Gawkers, it's Got Knockers. Hey, have you been to the Squatchfield site on the interweb that has it all? Introducing GotKnockers.org. Stop on by for an intriguing story of the encounter that started it all. But wait, there's more. Got Knockers offers some fabulous merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, onesies for the baby, plus a stunning array of jewelry and some fantastic sauces that will make your taste buds dance. But the coolest of all is a genuine Got Knockers tree knocker. Stop on by and say hi to the folks of Got Knockers, Gwendolyn and Michael Purcell. Get in on the action and just visit GotKnockers.org. Again, GotKnockers.org. On Friday and Saturday, March 21st and 22nd of 2025, it's the Georgia Bigfoot Conference. The Friday event will take place at Mount Airy, Georgia between 6 and 9 p.m. at R.M. Rose Distillery. What a great place to have a conference. Get drunk and talk about weird stuff. Saturday at Demorest, Georgia from 9 to 6 p.m. at Piedmont University. Just go to your favorite search engine and type in Georgia Bigfoot Conference, not festival, conference. You know, like when you were a kid and your teacher called your parents and said, yeah, we have to have a conference about your kid. Yeah, that's not a good thing, but this will be a good conference. So again, just finish typing in on your favorite search engine, Georgia Bigfoot Conference. Thanks again for listening to this holiday edition of the Bigfoot Bullhorn right here on the Sasquatch Experience. And as always,
until we meet again,
keep your toes in the mud.
Thank you, Vance, for the Bigfoot Bullhorn. Vance not with us tonight due to some technical difficulties. But nonetheless, wishing him a very Merry Christmas. And I know he'd like to be here with us tonight, but just having some issues. Scott, thanks for that information about the stream stopping. Guys, new to us is using the Streamlabs. We're working out the kinks. We'll get through it, and I promise we'll get back to normal, and you folks won't even recognize we changed flat platforms. Anyhow, Sasquatch Experience. Sean Forker, James Baker, Henry May, and Matt Arner. Broad Age John, thank you. Merry Christmas. Lots of love back to you. I'm telling you what, guys, I love our audience. We have some great listeners, some great friends, some great fans. We don't really call them fans. We call them friends. We're not famous. We're just guys that like Bigfoot.
That is our good friend John Cartwright, by the way.
Is it? Gotta love JC, yes. Our buddy JC. World's greatest Bigfoot hunter.
That's right. That's right.
The OG world's greatest Bigfoot hunter. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Matt, we've gone through Baker's list. Henry, do you or Matt, which one of you guys want to go next?
Henry, why don't you go?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I want to point out, and we discussed this several months ago when it was released, was On the Trail of Bigfoot, the Ancients.
Okay, yeah.
It is now on YouTube, by the way, if anybody wants to see it in its entirety. But it's also available on smalltownmonsters.com, Blu-ray or DVD, if anybody wants to make a purchase. So,
Yeah. No,
highly recommend it.
I think that's great, Henry. And I think you just kind of push us into the next stop is, a lot of our friends that have some of these, digital streaming systems and subscriptions. Small Town Monsters has theirs. You become a squad member over on YouTube and get access to just about everything that they have in their catalog in 4K. So you become a squad member over there on the Small Town Monsters YouTube for anybody that's so inclined to do so. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh,
Henry's laughing at Baker's cheekiness going on behind the scenes. What else you got, Henry? What else is on that list? On the Trail of Bigfoot, the Ancients?
Yes, and also The Secret History of Bigfoot by John O'Connor.
Okay.
It's more of a skeptical book, but it's a really good book. Although I didn't really like all the political stuff that was in it.
Oh, give us a little primer.
Well, a lot of Trump bashing, let's just say.
Oh, well. I mean, I guess to each their own. In a book, I don't understand what that's to do with Bigfoot, but, to each their own, right?
I mean, and that's regardless of how you feel about Trump, and whether you love him or hate him.
Right.
You should still stick to what you know. That's talking about Bigfoot.
I just don't know how it correlates.
I don't either.
Oh, well.
I would say that Bigfoot would be more of a libertarian.
Right. I mean, think about it. The only sovereign citizen, right, is a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I don't know.
We're
I
touching.
see him having those conservative values because he hides from the liberal media.
Fake news.
Fake news. I was watching Men in Black the other day, and I thought to myself, that is probably the most accurate. Hi, dog. That is probably the accuratest thing that Tommy Lee Jones ever says is, my God, the only ones who get it right are the tabloid.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Henry, got anything else on that list?
Can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, you had to have asked for something for Christmas. What did you ask for?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that really wasn't Bigfoot related, but you know what? Good movie nonetheless. We'll give you that one. All right. All right, Matt, we go to you. Let's talk about Matt Arner's list of Christmassy goodness.
So, it kind of came up earlier in the show. If you want to, I don't know if you're able to post that picture again.
I am. Hold on one moment here when I find boom.
There we go. That was actually a Christmas gift from a coworker, one of our younger guys. His name is Justice, a great officer, and every event he always gets me something Bigfoot related. So we ended up getting a Bigfoot ornament, which I thought was very nice of him.
That's cool.
And as you can see, the Bigfoot has a smile.
Wow.
That's a smiley, happy Bigfoot right there.
That is. Now, if Cliff Brockman was looking at that, he'd say, well, that's a little off because the fingers, the thumb is going to be,
stroke the furry wall.
be a little different. Yeah. So, anyways, one thing that Henry kind of brought up earlier that I was going to put on my list, and of course you can't buy it right now, but actually to put hey, this is why I went in the spring, is the Bigfoot at Bluff Creek by Daniel Perez. That looks to be like an awesome book. So Daniel puts out some wonderful material out there along with the Bigfoot Times. So both of those highly endorsed. So there was a couple things that I was thinking during the break. There was one or two pieces of equipment. One is from Wildlife Acoustics, and it's called the Song Meter Mini 2.
Okay.
I actually have that. I have not been able to set it up yet because it does require a little bit of technical knowledge that I'm not, so inclined with. But what that does is it basically takes the place of the of your audio recorder, and being able to set it at different times. So this is particularly used for bird researchers. But one thing that just from talking to other users, they use it at night for owls. So you can set it for a certain hour. And one thing I would probably do is, like especially in the spring or the fall, I'd probably put it around maybe midnight to 4 a.m. To record. And if it picks up anything, it will. It supposedly does a great job with the recording. So this spring, I'm going to try and get that out in the woods and see how we do with that. So one thing that I was thinking that's kind of outside the box with with the gift is plan a vacation. And when I say plan a vacation, try to find one of these, kind of decent locations that are, within, maybe a day's drive. Book a Airbnb, find a campground, do something, and go hiking through there. Spend some time out in the woods at night, if you could. Drive down the back roads. That's a lot of the stuff that I'll do. Sean and I have done, going through the back roads of North Central PA. Try to find, go to a place where I'd like to go. That's within a relatively short drive of us is Whitehall, New York, up in the Adirondacks. I think that would be a fantastic, even if you're just going up there for a couple days, try to find, there's places all around the United States that seem to have a cluster of sightings, encounters that seem to be hotspots. For us in Pennsylvania, maybe the Allegheny National Forest, because that really seems to be a hotspot lately. New York, the Adirondacks, Vermont, where Alex Petikoff is, in through that area. There's so many different areas in our area, like in our region. But then look at the South. The Smoky National Park, maybe down in Okeechobee or one of those places down in Florida. All throughout the Southeast, Midwest. There's some great areas to explore up there, especially in Minnesota. I'm not so familiar about the Great Plains, but definitely for, and then when you're out west, you got your pick of choices up there. So what I would say is, if you're looking to have a Bigfoot gift, maybe not so much under the tree, but have a gift for you, plan a day trip or plan a weekend trip, to one of these places and, check it out. Speak to some locals. Some of these places now have museums around. Check those out and, go out for a night hike, go out for a day hike. You never know what you're going to find.
Well, you made a good point there, too. Some of these museums, North American Bigfoot Center, the International Cryptozoology Museum, they're always looking for donations and they're always looking for support. You can either join their Patreons or join their, charitable giving.
Yes.
You can't go wrong supporting those two great institutions. Let's see. What else could you do? We'll go over into some of my lists, though, Matt, that you touched on. As we talk about last-minute gifts, and you and I pontificate on this product a lot, Onyx Maps, Onyx Hunting. It is a Well, I don't want to be dramatic, a lifesaver, but I will tell you it does a pretty decent job in delineating between public and private lands. So when you're out there, look what, you and I, when we were out the last time, we discovered that road we were on really wasn't a road at all, thanks to Onyx Maps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was a big, that was a really big deal to discover that, because it really put us into into the place where we were told we should have been and didn't even realize we were there. So
the one good point about Onyx is if we get enough of us that are using Onyx in the field, that you can drop pins and say, hey, we had something happen here, or this is where
Onyx Hunt, right?
Yes, this is where we were. We didn't get any activity, but it seems like a pretty decent area. You can set those pins, and it'll take you right there. I put up game cameras, and I, except for one, which was my cell camera, I marked their location, and I've been out like completely lost, thinking, "Oh my God, I'm never gonna find this camera," and there it is, within generally about 3 to 4 feet of where I set the pin. I did have a cell camera that I did not mark, and we kind of know where it's at, but I'm gonna have to wait till the snowfall melts a little bit before I go back there. But being able to share those pins with other researchers, we've had witnesses. I had a witness. He had some encounters in north central PA. He sent me the Onyx pins from where his sightings were. So definitely a huge gift to have. Yeah.
Right. Now I'm an elite member, which does have a little bit of a cost associated with it. But if you go to Onyx Hunt and discover it, it's Onyx, try.onyxmaps.com. There's an elite membership. You can get a free trial to start it off too. I use the elite because of some of the features Matt and I talk about. Being able to do that, and it's $100 a year, which is not going to break the bank. You could do a $14.99 a monthly subscription, or you could do the year for $100. I jumped into the year; it was well worth it. And you can use it on your laptop, you could use it on a tablet, use it on your phone. It uses that one account. It's very versatile. And again, it's a product Matt and I really believe in.
Yep. And there are substantial discounts if you're a first responder or a veteran.
Now, there you go. That's our little cheap plug, not cheap plug, a plug for Onyx hunting maps. And I guess another one I talk about, a good pair of boots. We talk about this all the time, Matt, but we're starting to become a member of a certain brigade.
Yes.
The Obaz Brigade.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. I got them up in my closet right there.
Yep, Matt turned me on to them, and they're a moderately priced pair of boots, but you won't go wrong with them. They're very comfortable. Alex Petikov has a pair. You have a pair. I have a pair. They wear pretty well, and they fit good on the feet, super comfortable, and I think Matt's probably going to grab them. Hold still, folks. He's a tall guy, folks. Look at him. He's a Sasquatch himself there, Mr. Matt. Big fella. Joining the live stream once again. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. So what I'm going to show you guys is the difference between Merrill hikers, Merrill Moab 3, which is a decent shoe, a decent boot, but the difference between that and the Obo. So you see this, and what happens is you get this flexibility. I mean, this shoe can go like this. It go all the way up to the tongue. That's good if you're walking like on the street, on a paved road, something like that. This is the Obos, and it does not go. It's a lot more firm in its support, so it doesn't go all the way back. The reason why that's important is when you're off trail, you want to have a boot that's more supportive, more firm, like this. That's not going to be, going like this over every rock. You really can't have that, because that is going to not just hurt your feet, but it's also going to hurt your ankles, hurt your legs. So you want to have something that's a little more,
Sturdy.
Sturdy, correct.
Right. Supportive.
And, yes. And
Also,
yeah.
when it does that, because I've learned with my boots are quite old, but they're work boots. I wear a pair of thick socks on them, and I've noticed that when my boot bends, it scruffs the top of my shoe.
Correct.
It scruffs the top of my foot, and I get a blister on the top of my foot.
Yep.
It's because of the way it does when it pops your foot up, it scrapes it across the top. So if you get boots that have more of a rugged sole, they'll actually. And the other thing is they make it when you grip the ground, there's less chances you being on your ass.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to roll your ankles. Importantly, I mean, you want to get something that's
I
going to
rolled
give
that
you.
ham hock. You'd be pulling me out.
Right. You really want it to be supportive, and that's why we kind of do little episodes like this to. They'll set you back about maybe $250 for a good pair. If that, you can get them on sale from time to time.
About $180, I think.
Yeah. It depends on your size and which version you go with, because they do have a higher one, and then to give you some more ankle support. But again, and I have a pair of Merrills, I have a pair of Obas. I like those better. They feel better on my feet. The first weekend I bought them, I wore them, and normally you don't want to break a pair of shoes in like that. And I did, and they didn't bother me at all. No blisters, no nothing. Very comfortable. And again, I always thank Matt because it was his recommendation. I have no regrets. So put that on your list, folks. And, in the show notes, we'll try to get some links to the products we're talking about in there when they get posted this week. Above and beyond that is, as we can start talking about maps. Garmin's really upped the ante with their GPS mapping watches, the smart watches. Matt's got one. I'm still on an Apple Ultra, but aside from their 16-day battery, it's actually 47 days, I believe, in GPS mode. And the sizings on them are pretty decent, anywhere from 43 to 51 millimeter. They got a good screen on them, and the mapping software in them is, second to none. It's got that good Garmin brand, and the smart features work fantastic. And if you're into fitness, some of the features you have for fitness are, up to par with the Apple Watch, but it gives you that ruggedness. You're not going to be really afraid to wear it outdoors and break it. And that'll set you back about $1,100 for the Phoenix 8, the AMOLED screen. But I'll tell you guys, it's slick and it's worth it. You can pick that right up on Amazon or even from Garmin's website. So,
I have the Instinct 2, and I don't have the solar one. I just have the regular Instinct 2, and I think that was about $300.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a watch out there for every price point. Mm-hmm. Of course, me, I picked the fancy one. Forker's a little bougie when it comes to that stuff. But, no, I mean, and there's just a whole slew of things we talked about. We tried to keep it to a few of us. Vance had put in yellow polarized glasses by Night Sight in a vintage audio cassette recorder that are out there. And, as we've talked about some of the luck that's happened with, we go back to the Sierra Sounds and how they use kind of like reel-to-reel and, analog equipment. Is there something to be said for analog versus digital? And Vance is, trying to get more folks to try that out. So going back to those vintage recorders with the cassette tapes, never hurts to try. And they're very economical. You can pick them up just about anywhere, starting at about $30. And probably more if you could find them at a thrift store or a pawn shop or, secondhand store. I'm sure there's a bunch of them still hanging around that you could pick up. And of course, he said, what did he put? He put a rifle in there, Matt. That may be more your expertise to talk about.
What rifle did he put in?
Lever action rifle, 45-70.
Yeah.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, money. Vance put money on there because all these things take money.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that last minute gift, what better is there than cash?
Yes.
What better is there than cash that you can go and spend on your own Bigfoot stuff? But hopefully, we gave you a little tease and a little primer of some great gifts you can get. And like I said, we'll put links in the show notes so folks know. I wrote them all down here so folks know. Guys, thank you so much tonight for popping in. Can you believe this hour is almost done already?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the last show for 2025 or 2024. When we come back, it'll be 2025, going into a whole new slew of adventures next year. But I guess, I'll leave us with that thought. We should all try to spend more time in the woods next year.
Mm-hmm.
All get out there, live a little better, disconnect, get our minds fresh, and just take some time to smell the roses, literally. Go out and smell the roses. Get ourselves some mental refreshers so we can have a great year and, respect and love one another just a little more. Henry, why don't you take us out with those dulcet tones?
Y'all be good or be good at it, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You've been listening to Sasquatch Experience. Please rate and review where this podcast has been consumed. To share your experience, visit us on Facebook, our website, or email us info@sasquatchexperience.com. Keep on squatching.